kidding.
So yeah, we'll during coffee break, we'll put some piece of paper. If you have a piece of paper by yourself, we'll create somewhere where you can put your paper with the name of the person. Obviously, unless you are completely flabbergasted by one presentation saying, "Oh, nobody will top this," and you can put it before. If not, we recommend you to wait till the end of the presentations to put your vote in. And yeah, that's basically it. I would say whenever we are, yeah. Perfect. So last day, as we said yesterday, it has partly have to do with the charters that that Europe Cinema has been developing, and we're going to start with the concept of running a sustainable venue from different perspectives. So I'm going to start with my very dear colleague Marijana, and yeah, keeping track.
No kiss for me today. But it
Please, with
doesn't
the small
matter.
business.
I know that I didn't deserve it. I haven't seen this presentation before. You're gonna be the first one to see. I'm kidding, of course. Today you are too serious. Alexander, can we start? It's another one. That's one. So I already talked much about a lot of programs we are running, and it's very, very hard to summarize it because it's really too much. I can show you later on how our weekly program looks like, and how those reports looks like, and it's really for single screen cinema, it's really too much. And as long as we are talking about sustainability and to include the others and how we do our work in a small team, so I will tell you how we are doing. I know that a lot of things is there which we should change, like we have to definitely grow up our little team, because we are most of us are working more than 12 hours a day. That's really too much. So let me just recall from the presentation which I had before. I will analyze just the numbers of 2022, where we celebrated our 110th birthday of only this cinema, not the company. Company is established in 1901. The total film audience on one screen was more than 55,000, and 72%, more than 72% was audience on EU film. I excluded Great Britain from all the numbers because they are non-European any longer. Then this is like comparison between the total audience and the young audience. All of these numbers we did in a single screen art house cinema, apart the regular program and all these screenings. We also had more than 50 other programs like theater performances, stand-up comedies, different conferences, and etc., etc. And we have on a daily basis VR game room, where the kids and the young people can follow the VR content. All of this, including the one who is cleaning the cinema and all the other spaces we have, is run just by 5 of us. And I have also accountant. She's retired, and she works with us. She's gonna be 70 this year, and she said that she's finally leaving us. So there will be only 5 of us. As long as we are, always running out of money and we don't have any public support, as long as we are private cinema and we can't access that money in my country, so we will not be able to pay a new accountant, but we're gonna give a space we have in offices and have external accountant in future. So I will just display in short what does that mean to run the cinema in such a small team where, if you ask me what is my role, I do everything, from the cleaning, I don't know, handling the kids, playing with them, telling them the stories, putting the costumes on myself. I need to do whatever it's needed to succeed in our programs. And this is how it looks like. I will try to translate this, that this cinema had 110 years in September. And then all of our birthdays we had really special programs, and this was the year where we also had a special program. Statistically, there was a lot of audience which couldn't handle the program so easily, and our audience was from 3 to 87. Weekly, approximate weekly screenings, we screened 22 different films in a single cinema, and it was 6.7 screenings per day, every day. One performance or stand-up, 3 different cycles beside those regular screenings. The number of school screenings was 7, and the birthday celebration was 5 a week. And also we had 4 tailor-made programs behind those regular programs. It is 1,800 pairs of shoes that went through our halls, and then you can multiply that with 4, and then you're gonna get the monthly average. And then think about a little short how you would put all those programs in one screen. The average of working hours per each of us, I will not even say, because you can do what is above, just if you love and very much love what you do, and you do believe in what you do. For a few days, our clock will turn around new 365 days, and we're gonna have 111 years to celebrate. There is a lot of symbolics in those 111, and it will be not possible for us to get rid of the concept we already started. But we will, go a little bit slow from now on. And what we're gonna decrease is the number of the screening behind the regular screening, and then we're gonna pumping up on a commercial screenings only. But we advise you to print the program, make reminders, organize your team, because for clever programs, you can't, have anyone to go with you and watch the film. You need to have somebody special. And oral programs are critically aware, conceptual. They have a clear concept. They are actual in a live circumstances. Blah blah blah. And then what I wrote here, what I wanted to write, we are going to slow down, but in this week, apart the regular program, we don't have special screenings, but we do. We have, some program here about the work conditions and art. Also, photography, Culture France, film biography, She Leads program, marathon of short films. And I said then, did I said that we're gonna slow down? And then I also wrote, yes, I forgot to tell you that we're gonna have the promotion of asylum for dogs activities, which means that dogs are allowed for the screenings in our cinema, and they come very oftenly. We have great cooperation with them, with that NGO. And also we're gonna have through this week cinema poster, blah 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 blah. So this is how it looks like. Our audience is very much included, and as you can see, I didn't post it to Kino Urania. I posted from my private profile, because I realized as long as we have those close cooperation with each person, they communicate more openly on my profile or our personal profiles, and they say very clearly what they want to do. So we use them actually. They are our sixth, seventh, eighth workers, because they are helping in the program creation. Thank you. Apart all of these programs, as we don't have money, so we also have to create these visual and visual presentations, press, and all other communication materials. And this is how it looks like. We are not professionals, but we still can design something which is interested to the audience. I will go fast through this. This is only apart from what we did in 2021. I have here open the presentation which I had before. You can ask me for some of these, because it will really take too long to talk about each of these programs. This is actually something I guess that most of you did, because we also had a lot of Ukrainian refugees, and we did the free programs for them. And this program is a program, a summer with Fran. It's focused on the French learning for kids, and it's similar to that what you have in your cinema. The parents are paying we have the program in 3 different modules, from 1 week to 2 months, and they are learning French, have a fitness, have a whole day with us, spend a whole day with us, and also has tons of screenings. They also create every year, each of those groups in modules create its own film. We have these birthday celebration every day, or not every day, 5 a week at least. And this is combination of film and music, education through the art. Film Business Academy, we correlate our programs with the school curriculums or university programs. We work a lot with teachers and professors. We organize to secure the diversity. We organize the school tour program in past 16 years. We had a lot of different programs through that. And Posh Store is something very funny, we approached to this year, because for Christmas you have those decorations, and everybody is after you have it for 1 or 2 years, you want to have something else next year, and we want to encourage our audience to share instead of buy, to leave a less footprint ecologically, and we do give them a space to exchange the decorations and other things, and also local environment to bring their products and sell it instead of gifts. So the audience buying that instead of gifts. All of these things, which you can see here, we are doing as long as we are a very, very small team, and we can prepare all these things and the programs and films and presentations and everything, but still we need somebody to help us in cross promotion, because we don't have enough time. People are calling us, we need to send them a message, but to group each film or each program, we need somebody to help us. As long as the team is too small, we are clever enough to use local NGOs mostly and other institutions. So we do create a program together with them, and we do approach their goals and combine their goals with us. So they are actually doing the promotion through their channels for us. So, and they bring us the audience. I mean, it's actually the group of their interests. So they are our 6th, 7th, 8th employee. when we can't have ours, we use theirs. So the role we play in our cinema is actually just a game we are playing. All of us have a fun over there, and this is how it looks like. We have parties for kids. As you can see, I'm the one which is playing with them. And they always cover me with the snow. And this is our parties. All of them are always, you know, up to some film, and we spend a lot to product the event. And all of them are always sold out in only 40 minutes. So we have even a trick for that. If you want to go to the party, you need to bring me 2 European film screening ticket. And as long as they don't have it, they want to, you know, come to the cinema and buy it. And it doesn't need to be from our cinema. It might be from any cinema. It doesn't matter. And then what they are doing, they come to Kino Urania and say, can I buy 2 tickets? And I say, yes, of course, on exit. So they have to watch the film. So what is our suggestion in how to work in a small team? Set the program, work out your assets, gather materials, set a schedule and responsibility, distribute materials, spread the word, hold the event, cross-promote it, use the other people from your community, and assess success and failures, because sometimes, you know, you just go wrong with the date. Something else is happening at the same time, and you divide the audience. But cinema experience is not only for the audience. You need to have the people to whom you work, which, you know, have the same opinion about the cinema experience as you do. And don't focus only on the films themselves. The venue is also your asset. We could see last night how it looks like when just one person can really damage the whole image of the space and ruin your business totally. You are competing with other experiences and comfortable sofa at home, so that means that you need to be very much different. So then go there and access the groups from the NGOs. They have other interests, follow their interests, not yours. Don't screen the films you like, screen the films based on their interest, and they will come. Imagine your cinema as a betting shop. So help people understand the rules. This is something I wrote because everybody asked how it's possible that our audience is sitting to the last credit. It's very simple because we don't turn the light on. If you're gonna go out and break your legs, I don't care. And in past 16 years, we grow the audience. Nobody leaves the cinema before the last scene of the credit. And after the screening is done, there's a single of popcorn. Why? Because we don't have time to clean it. It's only 4 of us over there. So they have to, you know, be nice and collect the garbage after themselves. Get good venue shots. People loves to see your pictures. And in my team, I have some guy which is, you know, very creative, but unfortunately there is working in such a small team makes you so occupied that sometimes we share those photos and everything between us or in a small groups, but we do not post them on a Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, because we just, you know, simply forget or don't have enough time. And when the event pass, then you are already too late. So how to partner those community and how you can partner with them and who is the best partner you can have in your community. This is like some questions which I always ask myself before I start any kind of new cooperation. And the partner of yours needs to have the same, you know, the same frame and the same brand in your society. Don't cooperate with someone who doesn't reflect your picture. So which means don't cooperate with drug addiction, but you know. So how it looks like to work and why my team is very, very motivated. As a leader, I don't, you know, behave as their boss. I behave as their colleague. And KPI in our organization means keep people interested, keep people informed, involved, and inspired. There are four eyes, KPIs. Look for how to create a program for next year, which, you know, just watch what was the most successful in your cinema. Don't cheat with numbers, because with the numbers, I spoke about that with Alexander, you are not cheating anyone else than yourself, because it will not help you creating new successful programs. Think of crossovers, go in a clear communication, the way where your audience are. Is it a newsletter or Facebook groups, or it's a direct communication? It doesn't matter. My model might not be the clear and good for you, because your audience might be somewhere else. Hand out the flyers, you know, pop them. And, you know, it's better to leave them somewhere where your interested group is coming. And the flyers are, you know, not so interesting any longer. Be imaginative about relationship between people, film, and the message of the film, and your audience personally. So, yeah, I don't have any more time. This is actually, I guess, my last slide. You will have all these presentations. This is why I wrote you so much suggestions which were successful in both presentations. So if you can use it, I would be glad. If you need any help, just let me know. People love cinema and they like to cooperate. Our audience is not participate. They are also creating the programs. Don't be afraid to try different things. Make it successful. Fail doesn't mean you made something bad. Fail is just a new attempt to try. And this is how my employee, there is only 4 of us working in a cinema, and he just informed me this way, like I'm Wolverine. He broke his legs. And this one is, I'm getting fire him in past 9 years on a daily basis, and you know, audience loves him so much, and he's really annoys me, and he makes mistakes very often, but he's very kind. I love him. So, do you have any questions?
So, any questions? Yeah, we have Fernandez.
I was so confused that you don't have any questions.
With so small team and so many events, like does the team burn through, or like how often do they change?
This is the events.
Yes,
So,
very many.
So what? Which one you want me to tell you something about?
No, not even like your team. How can they handle it? And
you know, they hard, and sometimes I need to be honest. Sometimes they just, you know, comes and say, "This is like a nonsense." I agree with them, but that's the role, you know, that's the role model I did 16 years ago, before they were our employees. It was successful. It is still successful. As long as it is successful, it will not be changed. Either you can follow that, you know, I can encourage you, but if you are the kind of person like that you have the limits, I'm working only from 8 to 4, that's not a place for you. Mm-hmm. You need to be more open-minded. Sometimes, you know, they want to have a free weekend, but cinema is not a place where you go to work if you want to have a free weekend. It simply goes like that. So I do communicate that with them before they got my employees. I mean, my colleagues, not employees. And we just follow the same goals. That's it. That it works. It's hard, but it works. And they do, of course, complain that the salaries are too low, which I agree, and my salary is too low either. So, but we can't change that right now.
Because you have so many different programs, I wonder how many of them are like temporary. You do them and you're done with them, and how many do you keep constantly going on?
Before we start the new program, I collect the data the way you've seen, and it sometimes just pop up to my mind. I seen some film, and which I correlate myself personally. And then I'm thinking of which other films might be in that group, and what kind of institutions or NGOs or school programs or university programs I have in the surroundings and to whom I can correlate it with. And then I make everything, and I just send it to them. So that means we are starting this. We have the whole tale from beginning to an end. And when something goes on the program, it stays there. You know, we might change something in the future, but when we start some program, it stays. Like I'm just preparing something about something to promote, like the drug addiction is something. The drugs is something it's better never start to use. And that program is pretty shocking. It will be hard to communicate it, but I did it a few years ago, and people do not accept those who were addicted, and once when they are okay and they can go back to the reality and to be involved in a society, people reject them. So I cooperate with them. And they are also helping. So how we include them, they are helping with the older people, and when we have the programs with kids, they play with them. So the people see that they might be useful, and they are there on the help. So we start to use them first, and then we go up with the program, pops up the program, and then it becomes successful.
You can tell me at the coffee break. But I was wondering, you have such an amazing spectrum of programs. Where do you get new ideas from? Any new inspiration?
You already know that I don't sleep. And as long as I don't sleep, during the night, when it's very, very silence, it's amazing what kind of things pops up to my mind. And my team, unfortunately, is not that creative. They can't create anything, but they can really follow up and do the best to proceed the program. But unfortunately, they are not creative. So it's my job, and it goes easily. I don't know how. But I messed up. I'm unorganized, and I'm all messed up, as you could see.
I'm in advance because I'll try to rush as much as possible through mine, so you can get some proper time. Half an hour, Marijana. Yeah. Time is not that relative anymore. Don't worry. Yeah, and now I have to apologize if they're okay, because it was my fault I had some problems with the presentation. Okay, 50 minutes, here we go. Just to recap very briefly, what I'm going to talk about is very much related to the tech one that I did. Not that you have to have of this, but we do use certain elements of that so we can work in the things that we've been working, okay? And just another, again, a very, very brief recap so you get some context of. It is on. Yeah, I can eat the mic. A bit rapper of me. Okay, so the thing is that CineCiutat, we are non-profit, 4 screens, open every day, and we are 5.5 people, including front of house and cleaning and all that stuff. So, okay, the most important part is that this, especially where we are right now, I'm going to change the mic. This is so. Okay. Yeah, much better. Especially in the point that we are right now, I will talk a little bit about it. What I'm sharing with you here is more of a process, not an answer or anything, but maybe you can reflect on some of those things. So, CineCiutat as a model of a structure of teams, in a quick recap in 3 slides, we started as pure horizontality, which was fucking chaotic, and I end up very many times in the hospital, and I actually left CineCiutat for a time because we voted everything. We even voted if we had to vote a decision. So this is not a joke, or maybe it's funny because it's real, haha, but that really happened. So I won't get into the details of it, but we worked like that, and it was crazy, and yeah, power to the people, but maybe not that much power, or maybe there is an expression in Spanish, long live the hassle, but well-organized hassle, So that was how we started. We then, and I know this makes no sense to you, and I'm here to explain it to you, but this is just because we like to share the image. We call it the D3D model. Well, it's not we, like the guy that created it, called Marco Robledo, which I can share elements and links with you if you want. For free, he became the vice president of the association, and we created together, adapted the D3D model to CineCiutat, which basically it's inspired and based in sociocracy, which if you're into those kinds of things, it's a kind of a way of horizontal organization. Just to really, really, really summarize it, it's basically having no bosses and a lot of self-management. So you can be the responsible, like your area of responsibility may have bigger impact, but if someone else is the leader of another area, you don't have you don't have the power to overrule that person. So there are no bosses. The problem with that, now we are evolving from that a little bit, and we are in a process of questioning and deciding. We do know that we really want to keep the self-management part, but the no bosses, we found some hiccups during the way that I'll talk about now. So what I'm sure of for now, because you never know, is that the goals are key. Like, what do you want to do? Who you want to be? What we were talking about on the first day, innovative, cooperative, blah, 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 whatever like the importance of curation, the importance of conversation, and I'll put a practical example that we're working on right now, like really knowing what you want to offer. And from there, derive the structure. Another very important thing that we realized is the importance of job description. Like, when doing the onboarding and when doing the hiring, really know what that person is going to do. Not, like making that, in Spanish we call it cajón desastres, or a tailor's box, where you put a lot of things in it. Like making that miscellaneous box of tasks the smallest possible, and make that person know with the much detail as possible what that person is going to do. And yeah, maybe some of the tasks will end up on your desk at some point randomly, but most of the time you'll know what you're doing, and you know why you're here. And this is super important for us too, leaving space for passion, because like getting to the cliche of Google gives X% of their working hours a week to their workers to create their own pet projects. So it's not that we do it exactly the same thing, but when you onboard CineCiutat during the interviewing process, we ask them what are their interests beyond what they're going to do in CineCiutat at that role, because maybe their passion could feed CineCiutat somehow. We've also learned on the way that we shouldn't open new ideas or new concepts only based on the passion, because if that person leaves or that volunteer leaves, then you're hanging with a hot potato and you don't have the capability or the resources to continue. But it's really interesting, like for example, now we have a person that is in charge of projection, but he really likes graphic design. So we have a person that's doing graphic design, but we always ask that projectionist, hey, do you want to do it? Like, it's, you know, in between screenings or something, you have the capability of doing it there. Do you want to be part of it? Do you have a program of this director that you really like? Do you want to do it? You don't have to, but it's something that you like, just to give you an example. And also a way to infuse that passion is sharing with your team what you've learned today, and even having a session with them. Like, also here it depends on your level on the organization. But what I like to do, and I've learned through the years, we've done it very fewer times that I would like to, but it's just when I come back from a lab or when I come back from the CKA training, it's like, okay, who wants to come like a Saturday morning? If those are extra hours for you, we'll pay those extra hours for you, and I'll share a quick overview of what I saw during this week, and maybe there are things that you want to go into, and that really infuses passion within the team. It is time, but we do believe that, you know, we want people to be happy at CineCiutat, and I'm feeling that it's worth it when things go really crazy and stressful. Then there is a missing slide, and it's my fault, so I just leave him here because it's very pleasurable to look at. But it was the importance of hiring, and we failed a lot there. And as of now, I'm even thinking maybe we should externalize the hiring process, because of the soft skills that we're looking for are so key to the structure that I think that you need. I think, again, I'm not sure, that you need someone that is really capable of seeing those soft skills. But yeah, I'm just throwing, no, I'm not throwing anything because you don't see it, but I'm throwing the concept out there because it's something that is really stuck with us, that we've hired maybe not the right people at certain points, and then, especially if then you don't have the money to fire them because you're so tight on money, and you're stuck in a very vicious circle. The learning process. Again, it's a learning process that we try to adapt all the time. And just so you know, right now we have two things. Again, techie, nerdy, blah blah blah. In order to understand better where the time goes, you know, we're gonna start. Like, I've started doing the beta testing during the first part of the year somehow, but now from April onwards, we're going to use a time tracker divided by tasks. I won't get into it, just so you know. It's not that every single task is detailed there, because it has to be user-friendly during the day. But it more or less within areas of the project and within general tasks within those areas, we'll use that as a way to clock in, you know, and then know what are we doing. And that could be front of house. I'm just receiving people at the box office. I'm selling tickets. That's it. Or it could be I'm looking for rights for a film. You know, it could be the spectrum is very high, but it's very wide. But that way, we hope that in a few months we can see exactly, okay, where is time going? Maybe we have to optimize the process for those tasks. Maybe we realize that certain people are not as productive. You know, if you're really taking all this time to just do this, then maybe you are the problem, but we can help you or fire you. And then the communication optimization, which is systems that we implemented, that since we don't have the resources to have someone for comms and marketing at our cinema, we created a system that the only thing that we externalize is the newsletter, and the newsletter is done by a person with whom I basically defined the language and the tone of CineCiutat's communication 10 years ago. So, like, she really knows how to write us. So what we do is that we created a process where I did the newsletter for 2 weeks, so she could be working on our newsletter 3 weeks in advance. And what we do then is that during this week, she will be doing the newsletter for 3 weeks in advance. So yesterday she published like this week's newsletter. During this week, so for 2 weeks prior, we have the texts that we can adapt for our social media, maybe for a press release, maybe for something. So it's not ideal because we ideally you should adapt the language and blah, 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 blah. But, you know, desperate times come with desperate measures, and we do use that, and people kind of flow. It's not that we see different people in between the newsletter, the website, and on social media, but in some cases there are, and in some cases, in all cases, we change the graphics. So yeah, it's just to optimize that. Again, doubts, this could be like 3 hours of doubts, but I'll just try to get it very general. So it's the generational dilemma, and this is something that I just realized this week, and I was verbalized for the first time with the team on Tuesday night, which is that maybe that D3D model of no bosses and da-da-da-da-da is so cool. Maybe it was a very millennial-centered kind of structure. And I'm going to generalize a lot. I don't believe in generalization, but just so we get a perspective on it. What I mean by that is that, and here comes the generalization, sorry YouTube, don't burn me out. If we think of baby boomers or Gen Xers, we really come from that concept of, I have to make a living, this is my job, da-da-da-da-da. Millennials, we were born in a way that they told us, if you get your degree and your master's, you'll find your job and you'll be done. And then we did it, some of us didn't. But then, you know, as a generation, we did it and we got slapped in the face and we found nothing. So there was this cynicism about what I have to work a lot because I have to have that job that gives me a living, but I'm not receiving anything what I should receive because I did what you told me. And there is this like contradiction within the millennial generation on how to relate with jobs, with our jobs. And then there are Gen X's, Gen Z's, would say like, what the fuck? Like, why should I do that? Like, have you seen yourself? Like, you've done all that and you got, okay, sorry on YouTube. You got nothing. Why should I follow that path blindly? Just because you tell me to. So we are, just to translate that into the actual situation, is that, you know, maybe, like obviously me putting weird names to everything, like, are there more than two pills? What I mean by that is, between this concept of what we've had with certain Gen Zers in our teams, that they're just clocking in. You give them all the possibilities, and I'll talk about them briefly now. I have 1 minute and a half. They still like don't connect. Some of them do, but like in a general way, it's difficult for them to connect with the concept of trying to enjoy the job. At the same time, they really like, and everyone that comes to CineCiutat really likes the concept of self-management, to the point that they are completely their own bosses, to the point that they can agree upon themselves if they want to have a 2-day weekend. And they organize their shifts, they organize their working hours, they organize absolutely everything. And that's so cool when you tell them like, oh, you can do da-da-da-da. And, you know, that balance between, oh, yeah, I do like the perks, but I don't want the responsibilities. It's complicated, and we're trying to find like a balance between that. And a very brief example was a very nice example that I always give to the team if something doesn't work, is that there was this amazing projectionist girl that we hired that came from Barcelona to Mallorca because she said that she had been working in a multinational company for many, many, many years, and she knew about us. And she was tired of the, you know, pyramid structure of bosses, da-da-da. And she wanted always to work in a horizontal, blah, 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 blah. And she knew about the D3D model, and it was amazing. She moved from Barcelona to Mallorca. 2 weeks later, she said, I'm out. And but she was super honest. She said, like, I thought I wanted to be my own boss. I don't. I need someone telling me, do this there, do that now, da, da, da. So, but she was so honest, and she came to us like, I thought this is what I wanted, but it's not. And I tell the team, like, if you feel that way, say it. It's much better, like, to move forward from there. Then she also said, like, obviously we all have our pride, and this system of yours will never work. And it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. Here we are. But no, she's nice. Like, we cross paths every now and then, and she's very nice. But yeah. And so 2 current situations, very fast. You can't see shit. The box office. Location, location, location. What do we mean by that? Like, trying to make the most of our teams. It's also because here, this is the old slaughterhouse of Palma, where our cinema is. There's a metaphor there somewhere. The thing is that here under this tree is the box office booth, and here's where you access the cinema. So you'll see it here in this. It should start automatically, but I don't know. Do you see if it's starting automatically there? No. Nope. Could you press something, maybe? Ah, shit. Okay, so that's not gonna move. Whatever. It was gonna it's just so you could see. It doesn't matter. You could see how that path is, and it's ineffective because you have one person isolated here, and then you arrive here to the entrance. You have to go to the end of that hallway, and here is where you access the cinema to the right. So right now we're in the whole process of thinking, can we move the box office booth here? And I'm trying to see if I can tear this wall apart and stuff like that, just to, with optimizations and technology, see if we can put things together and make first for them, so you're not 2 people isolated from each other, so there's a more human element to it, and then other things that I don't have time. If you want, it has to do with kiosks. It has to do with, but kiosks with a person beside it. So we just have curational people. We don't have ticket sellers. We have curators beside a kiosk. It's really cool, actually, but I don't have the time. And then the other option is from Plan A, which is where we are now in this, like, everyone's a boss, to Plan B to Z, because we don't really know. We're thinking of, just so you get the drift, maybe we can keep the Plan A from a certain level upwards, and we can take, and we call them with love, like, hire Oompa Loompas for the very basic, like Oompa Loompas with passion, for the very basic, front of house thing. And give them they won't have the responsibilities, they won't have the perks of those responsibilities, they will have to come when they're told and da-da-da-da, but we'll always try to have a good work-life balance. But then keep that D3D model from them upwards, because it's something that we feel that has really fed properly the growing and the development of the organization. And that's basically it. Sorry, I took 2 more minutes that I should have. But yeah, thank you. If you have questions, ask them to me if you don't mind, afterwards, so you can have as much time as possible, and you have it.
Thank you. Calm down, breathe. Okay, so while the presentations, okay. I've put in silly little animations in the slides, and I'm thinking that maybe that's why it doesn't work. Okay, all right.
Okay. Okay. So, well, any questions? Yeah.
I was just wondering about the system for the time tracking. Is it a finished system, or did you develop it yourself?
No, it's called tracking time, and it's a web browser, it's an app, it's a plugin for Chrome, and it's that you just have to put your employees. You put it's very much done for freelancers, that for clients you can even build like we only use, or we're only going to use the projects as areas of the cinema, and then the task there, and there's no timeline for that. So it's built for, oh, I have to create a website, and I'm billing 10,000 euros an hour for the website. And we won't use that, but it's done. You just have to write. These are the areas. These are the tasks. You can even assign tasks to people, so you can't accidentally like input hours to, I don't know, payments, because you don't, I'm not in charge of that. Yeah, you can even put the free days, like bank holidays, so that automatically happens. Please let me know.
Yeah, we're ready.
Oh, sorry, I'm not using it's done?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you more later, but it's tracking time and it's there. And I'm sorry for YouTube, but yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go try to be kind of as quick as I can. I'm gonna talk about the eco-friendly cafe. As you see, I've put in some animations to distract you from some other things. So we're just gonna go through what we're gonna do. Why should we do this? How do we do this? How do we find who we want to work with? And what you can actually gain from this. So as maybe some of you know, I'm sure most of you know, we've got some goals, we've got some tasks. They should be achieved by 2030. We're not doing that great. So I just want to put some conscience into your mind why we should do this and why we should do this quicker, sooner rather than later. What really worked for me is putting into perspective that in 2050, we're gonna need 3 planet Earths to satisfy our needs to live the way we live right now. So that really puts into perspective how soon we have to do what we should do. And then again, how should we do this? Well, I don't know. As Javi said, it's a process. It's not an answer. It's a process. We actually built our cafe back after the pandemic, just last fall. Due to sanitary reasons and logistical reasons, we cannot have like a great big cafe restaurant that we always wish we had. But we try to make do with what we had because we really love coffee. We love coffee so much, and we think it's an important part of a cinema experience. And giving the people a nice space to talk before the screening, after the screening, and as I'm sure you're aware, it's an important part. We cannot have porcelain cups. We cannot have reusable cups, so we have to make do with paper cups and with that sort of stuff. So what we did when opening up the cafe again last fall, as I said, we love coffee. So we go around the town and see what works, what doesn't. This is Tektura, our favorite place in the whole of the city. They make great coffee, and they do have the sustainability in mind so much. They experimented with different materials. Like we came out one time, they had this covers for the cups, and we were like, well, this ruins the coffee for us like entirely. It's disgusting, the paper covers on the cups. But then they found different vendors for them. They made it better. They found some better things. So we came up and said like, hey, where are you getting this from? We want to get the same. And they told us we got them. It's great. It's going great. We didn't have to experiment with, bad cups or anything. Yeah, so basically what we did was just ask around what's working, what's not working. So yeah, we've reopened the cafe in September. It's very basic. It's mostly just coffee and some snacks. We try to do this as with the amount of resources that we have, we cannot do much, as I mentioned, but we try to do the best as we can. This is sort of how it looks like. It's a great place for our team because for the past 2 years, 3 years, I'm not sure how long it's been since the first lockdown. Who counts that? It was just an empty space and it looked kind of sad. So we know how to brighten it up a bit. We try to make it look nice. I'm gonna show you just in a second. My favorite idea that we did is reusable, water bottles. We try to encourage our audience to drink tap water instead of buying plastic bottles, which some are not convinced, but we're trying to convince them. So we put them in some kind of if we do some quizzes or contests, we throw them in. They have our logo, they have our branding. And it works nice. Yeah, so what we gain from that is obviously the better cinema experience, ideas from other projects, because the sustainability we have in mind like constantly with everything we do, and I think that's the most important part. So whenever we do any sort of night marathons, quizzes or stuff, we always, oh yeah, and that's also the reason I wanted to say that we don't have this sort of, fresh food sort of thing, because we haven't yet found a good provider of that wouldn't use, plastic wrappers and a lot of trash connected to that. We're still kind of looking for that. And with every project we kind of get closer, but it's still not the thing that we want. For us, it was also a great kind of a team building experience with all the coffee tasting, obviously, and we made some good friends, new friends from other cafes in Krakow, which we still use to this day with other projects. And we can always come up to them and ask them about what they're doing. We can just go up there to the cafes and hang our posters to promote our events. When we need some discounts for our viewers, they are always open to ideas. And to end on a high note, I want to tell you, this was not supposed to look like that. You know what I mean. You too can make the world a better place. Thank you so much. And it's 11 on the dot. Yeah.
Even better than I was. Yeah, so do you have any questions? Yeah.
The cafe looks very beautiful, first of all. I have a small question. Why don't you use just regular mugs instead of these paper takeaway
Oh,
cups?
yeah, because at least in Polish law, it requires certain, levels of sanitary stuff, like access to the closed water on the place. And since we are in a very old building, we cannot put in the water into the place. It's quite a bit far away, so we have not figured it out how we can do this. Also, it's a small space, so we don't have a place to clean it properly, so we cannot do this, in a sanitary way, in a legal way.
About this question and this what you did, I just have a compliment and a suggestion to all. Make it work and then make it better.
Exactly. That's what we thought. We just need to get it started to provide the coffee, and then once the coffee is done, we can figure out the rest. And that's what we're doing right now, because it's only been like a few months. It's still like in the beta testing. Thank you.
It might not be a very good idea, but in Norway it started a trend now for people to bring their own coffee cups. So in our office is very much prestige with that coffee cup, people bringing like their own.
It was one of our ideas at the beginning, and then we forgot. So
Okay.
thank you. Yeah, it's also a common system, right? That if you bring your own cup, you get like some kind of a discount for the coffee. Yeah, yeah. Well, we forgot about that actually.
Take into account though that as a person that is in love with specialty coffee and a person that has his own cup, I try and because I love the coffee places, I bring it clean. But when talking to them, there are a lot of people that come with the coffee cups, but they're not clean. So they expect. It's not that they expect. It's like, oh, I forgot. And so then you have to clean it. So just take into account because of what you said of the cleaning, because apparently like the idea is great, but the human element of it is,
It's always the humans, right?
Yeah.
I told you at the beginning, it's always the humans.
ChatGPT. No, sorry. Any more questions? I mean, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's go have a coffee break.